Shouts out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. Shout out all the viewers. Big Steve, full-time bettor. I bet on MMA. Been doing it for 7 years now, 7th year, and this is the 2nd year doing it full-time, $500 units. Right, this is a show where we look at some early betting odds. It's going to be some regionals and UFC 314. Nice little pay-per-view. I'm excited about it. I've already taped some fights in advance. And did I make money last week? Not really. I did not. And I will go over it. There's a lot of regionals, so I do not want to waste too much time. And we'll get into it. We'll see. We'll get to the bottom of it, right? Dog Father. Hi, Big Steve, my goat. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for listening. Bill Fay, Bug Steve. Big Steve, apostrophe. Good job, mate. Well done correcting yourself. Alrighty, let's get into it. All right, I'm going to do some early tease for PFL as well. All right, so speaking of PFL, so this week I lost about, all up, $590. $90 over one unit. All things considering, not bad. I was very complacent. You know, I've locked 2 UFC bets, weeks in advance, and I don't usually do that. And I bet more than I should have, and then I got reverse CLV'd. I had like BKFC. I had Glory kickboxing bets that I wasn't comfortable with, and I looked at my slate and I said, wow, I'm being very complacent. I'm being very aggressive and not really calculated. And if I can get through this week without a massive loss, I will fix that up. I'll go back to my usual self because if people know me, I'm very analytical. I don't force my bets. Most of my bets are last minute. And because of that, I don't really have much on bet MMA. I don't really track there because once the event starts, you can't track it. But this week, I went a bit overboard and it cost me. So PFL, the first week of the series, is actually the only card that I bet how I usually bet. I didn't rush it. Right before the event, I bet Kim versus Kelly doesn't go the distance. I felt like Kelly early upside, Kim early or late upside. So I thought it was a great bet. $2.15. I put half a unit just because I don't like my props, my totals. It's the most tilting way to lose. I should have put half a unit on Kim. I was leaning with him the whole way, especially when he became a dog / pick'em. But ultimately, I won $200 and something there, so I can't complain. Bachar pass. This one I regret. Frederick Dupras Braga under 1.5 rounds. I felt like Dupras could have subbed him, and I felt like Braga could have knocked him out because he has a really bad loss, Dupras, to a bum on the regional scene. I think that was good to minus 200. In the end, Braga submitted him, right? Who would have thought? So someone called me, and I missed out on putting that bet. That's a bit of regret. But I did not regret the next fight because I put a whole unit, $525 on Thad Jean, $1.44. It didn't go back up to minus 200, but ultimately I said, and he's going to kill this guy. So I bet 500 to win 200 and something, almost half a unit there too. So I'm up $510, 2 bets, 1 unit. Didn't really like the card overly for betting. I put $50 on Mobley Kabulaev. I thought he would finish Kennedy. Sub was never even close. I'm happy with that because ultimately I was going to go with the under 2.5 rounds and lose a half a unit, and that would have been tilting as all hell. And then nothing on Stoley. And then my biggest regret is Pineda went up to pick him. I said I was going to play him. I didn't play him. I thought it was going to be kind of competitive. I left it for live bet. I tried a live bet, and just as I was about to confirm, Pineda dropped him, and it was all done. So that's my biggest regret. And also not playing Jason Jackson at chalk when it was like $1.44. Ultimately, he's not impressive, but he's always going to beat a washed Koreshkov. So $460. Missed out on a little bit more profit. Probably could have been close to $1,000 if I bet Pinedo instead of being a pansy. But ultimately, I bet well. So we go to the next card. A lot of regionals. So Invicta, I quickly I grinded on this. I took a caffeine tablet and I was like, let's get some good regional action here. The only regret I really have is Tyrana Silva versus Claire Lopes. She was a big underdog, and the under 1.5 rounds was plus money too. If you know Claire Lopes, she loves getting submitted. She basically is winning until she loses. Silva cut down to a natural weight class. She was shredded. She submits everyone on the regionals. And I was like, all right, that's the bet. I'll circle back around. Then I started grinding on all these other fights. Didn't find the bet. Went to sleep. Didn't wake up in time. I saw Tanara Silva guillotined in round 1. Both the under and the big dog money cashed. I was like, damn, that's it. You grind too much, but you don't actually, circle back to the bets. So that one bothered me a bit because it was like, big opportunity missed. And this is the first time ever I was kind of tackling BKFC and whatnot. So there was two promotions. On one of them, Alexei Olenek. I usually look into the ex-MMA fighters because I know him well. The man's been knocked out a bunch of times. In round 1, I was there. He got knocked out in his first fight outside of UFC by Ollie Thompson, sparked cold. I posted it out on my thing. I saw it. I'm like, well, minus 200 on Olenek, and I see who his opponent is, Geronimo Dos Santos, right? This guy has been KO'd himself so many times, right? He's lost via injury, shoulder injury, so many times. I'm like, this is a volatile fight. Ultimately, should have bet Geronimo just because he's more athletic than Olenek. And yeah, minus 200 favorite. Missed out on that one. There was a couple of really strong parlay pieces that I had a chat to some of the boys on Twitter. And there was a couple parlay pieces, but not enough for me to lock anything in. They all won, easy peasy. And then in BKFC, I actually had one big bet on Hannah Ranking. I had $800 on her, mainly because I found plus 150, $2.50, and it was pick'em on Bet Online on an Aussie book. So I thought it was an easy hedge. And then the more I looked into it, I'm like, Hannah Ranking is a boxer, minus, Jessica Borga. She was never really good at striking in MMA. I completely hedged out, $90 to win a full unit, 470 on Ranking. She lost in 90 in like a minute, which is fine. So I didn't really care about that. And the other thing I had was Rade Opacic, right? In Glory FC, one of the biggest kickboxing promotions. They gathered all the best heavyweights in the world. And I was like, this is sick. And, some of the sharps, I have really, really sharp people from Europe and other areas that know their kickboxing well. And I've tailed them before and I've won bets. But I know Rade because he's Serbian. And I looked into him and he was fighting this Nico Pereira Horta, really durable guy. And he's always fighting close with high-level fighters. And I'm like, I don't know if Rade is high-level, right? Plus he's Serbian, plus he trains with Stosic. That's a red flag. And ultimately, I had a full unit, and I reduced to half a unit just in case Rade is the real deal. And then he got knocked out. He got knocked out by this bum, Nico Horta, and my gut was correct. But, when I looked at my slate, I had that BKFC boxing fight. I had Rade. I had someone else in Oktagon, and I didn't tip any of those bets because just my gut was like, I'm kind of forcing these. They're not your typical Steve bets where, you leave it to last minute, you do a lot of analytical work. And I was like to myself, 2 out of 3 are going to hit, and none of them hit. So that was the worst case scenario. So I lost half a unit there. And, then we move on to Oktagon, which one of my favorite promotions, Oktagon 69. But let's take a little bit of a break. Let's look at the comments, right? Before we move on. Dogfather, he was on Thad 2, props, better line. Gas Packs, the Movlead fight pissed me off. Should have been stopped. Man, yeah, if I had the under there, Jesus, I might have just committed. Which is why I only put half units on totals. They're very, very tilting results, unless it's a smash spot. Dogfather, Luciano, yeah, great bet, my friend. Pinedo, solid bet. Jaron Ennis Fight Week. Aaron Giolana, yep. I looked at the boxing as well. I looked at Philip versus Joyce. That felt like such a horrible fight. I didn't like anything there. When Walt gets knocked out, I'm going to hurt myself. Yeah, well, as long as we're there for it, it might be better. Subhuman Gaucho, one of the sharps in the Discord. How are you, sir? All right, so we're going into Oktagon 69, right? I was very excited. So basically, I crammed this. I wish I gave it a bit more tape. I didn't play. I was going to play this Alexander Stefanovic guy. He's a Serb, but he's like a fat dude. It was a meme result, just for memes, but I didn't play it. And then I kind of like Dale didn't play it. Everything else I kind of quickly taped. This is my big regret. Frederick was Grony, basically like Paddy on Tren. Really good high-level grappler. He ended up submitting Jorik. It is what it is. I didn't think his cardio was that great. I didn't think his defense was that great. But ultimately, he made it work. And the actual only bet I played was Fedor Juric versus Predrag Bogdanovic. So it's pretty much Serb versus Serb. Fedor is Serb, and his parents moved to Germany. And his dad named him after Fedor Emelianenko. What a goat. What a goat father. And I basically played him at $2.10, at $2, and at $8.80. On the Bet365 that's limited, I could only put 200 by 200. And every time, I couldn't tip it out because every time I bet it, the line gets ruined. So, I had it, and he was a favorite the whole week. And I was like, you know what? It could be pick him, or it could be that he should be 60%. And basically, Predrag put in a Torres Finney performance, held him doing nothing, no strikes, rounds 1, 2, and 3. Round 3, he almost gets finished. Fedor takes him down, almost pounds him out, almost chokes him out. Round 2, Fedor gets out with like a minute to go. Lands a front kick that bothers him. Lands a spinning back kick. Lands a knee that glances his head and actually drops him. And the judges, 2 out of 3 judges, still give Bogdanovic the round. It's crazy. If that was in the UFC, Juric wins 30-27. And we've seen it. Someone gave Finney a 30-27. Right, so that was annoying. That's basically, I lost the $90 on BKFC. I lost half a unit on Ride in Glory. And I lost half a unit on Juric. And that was the only fight that I actually liked my bet because he looked big value and, yeah, lost the split. Horrible Octagon judging. Didn't play anything else. So another 2. I'm basically down a unit on Oktagon, BKFC, and Glory. But I have a unit in PFL. So it's all good. It's not the end of the world. We're going on to the UFC, and I've got some big bets in the UFC. I'm trying to be more aggressive. If I get 10 units, I'm doubling it to $1,000, right? So we go into the UFC. What do we got? All right, so we got Alencar, Vanessa Demopoulos. I was like, Alencar should be the side, but I overthunk it. Right? We know how bad Demopoulos' takedown defense is, and straight away I'm like, ugh, that was the bet. Anyway, let's move on. Martin Budai. I played the over here, half a unit, 250. I was like, I'm not going to miss out on another bet because I'm scared. This Uran guy might get knocked out. He was very, very aggressive in his LFA fight where he was getting rocked left, right, and center. Played the over. I pick him. Hits. A little bit sweaty. Budai gets wobbled. I won almost $200 there. I'm happy with that. Nothing in Henry Falcao. Nothing in Loma Nunes. Reese McKee, Franza. I had 1.5 units on Franza, and I mentioned I didn't really like it. I locked it in early in the week. I never get reverse CLV'd. It reminded me of Morgan Charrier versus Wood. I forced it a bit, thinking Morgan was going to get moments, but he was definitely the worst striker. Franza as well, a little bit green, but definitely had more power, more durability, in my opinion, than Reese McKee. And, I completely hedged out. I was like, I'll just live bet Franza. I think he's going to have some issues early. But I couldn't hedge out properly because he ended up being pick'em. So I had like $250 on Franza to win nothing. And if McKee won, I would lose that $250. So, but better than losing $700. And good job in the end. Reese McKee, for some reason, looked like Francis Ngannou in there every time he touched Franza. But maybe I'm coping, but I was really, really confident. I just felt it in my gut that Franza was going to knock him out in round 2 and 3. He survived the worst of it. Reese was getting very hittable at the end there. He slowed down, obviously. But cope, whatever, say what you will. But yeah, lost $250 there. Break even because I hit my Budai over. And yeah, it is what it is. So that's what happens when you lock bets in early. I would have lost nothing there because I wouldn't have got involved. Anyway, Dejan Barbosa, I won a unit. I played her submission round 1. A lot of people were the under and the sub. I thought it correlates early. And yeah, she got at end of round 4, basically round 1, basically one takedown, took her less than a minute. So I won 400 and something there. Finney, Valentin, nothing. I actually like the over 1.5, is what it is. Oda Osborne. So I had 3 units on Garul, minus 200. I basically gave Osborne 25% chance to knock him out. And the reason I didn't leave it for live bet is because what we saw. Garul won round 1. Right, I felt like Garul could win all 3 rounds, even though Ode was quicker, more dangerous. I know Ode well, right? I've seen how good he is. I've bet a lot of unders on. I didn't play Lazy Boy against him because I thought he could really kill Lazy Boy. But I just thought Garul, volume, cardio, wrestling, toughness if he gets hurt. And props to Ode, man. He landed that round 2 knockout, and I actually hedged Ode round 1 KO. And my friend told me he hedged round 1 and round 2 on a book that made an error for the same price. And I was like, wow, should I do the same? And I just had this gut feeling that after Ode was on his back and didn't really use any energy, that he could still knock out Garul. I was like, because I've been burned before with a hedge. You lose the hedge and you lose the thing. So I basically lost 1,500 in Garul and another 100 on the ARB. So that was like worst case scenario. And I'm just like, wow, that's a big loss. I'm, 500 on the regionals and 1,600 on the 1,300 in the UFC because I had some profit from Barbosa. I was like, oh, well, it is what it is. I was a little bit down for the Brad Tavares GM3 fight. And then I was like, you know what? This stuff is not fun if you stress, right? It's not fun if you stress. And back in the day, before I was doing this full time, I was going ham. I was playing every fight. I was hedging. If I was down, I was chasing. And man, I would get out of the hole like 9 out of 10 times. And I was a bit scared about Chang Ho Lee Romeus, but as I mentioned on my pod, I said I like Lee. I like Lee KO. I like late. I like inside the distance. Doesn't go. I gave Romeus a little bit of finish upside early, and then pretty much Lee a lot of finish upside later because Romeus is a bum. People were mushing the Romeus sub. Didn't give him any chance to get a sub. Really bad, overrated jiu-jitsu. And yeah, I was like, you know what? Let's pull the trigger. I'm already down 1,300. What's another 1K, right? Back in the day, that's what gave me the rush. So I went, half unit on doesn't go, and then another $50 on Lee round two, $50 on Lee round three, and then I was like, you know what? Let's put another Lee round three KO, which is paying $20 to win 400. So if it hit in round three, I'm basically in profit, and ended up being Lee round two, which got me $760. I lost a little bit of the round three and round three KO, but now I'm down $700 instead of 1,300. So I'm like, hell yeah! I wanted a live bet on Lee, that didn't happen, but I'm not going to complain because Lee almost knocked him out in round one, and I wouldn't have hit my round two props. So I'm not going to complain. Could have been worse. So that got me out of a hole, and I was feeling it. So I was like, let's go with my lean again. Burrito round three, round one KO. Not even close. Props there on playing Sabatini. I wrote down that Burrito makes stupid mistakes. I just couldn't get past the fragility of Pat. But note made, Burrito is an idiot, and he will not make adjustments, right? Which was kind of obvious on tape anyway. So another $100 down there. And then Lerone Murphy, Emmett. I really liked Emmett all week. I thought it was going to be very close. A lot of people did. Lerone doesn't separate. But you know what? I thought Murphy had a call for every single round. Honestly, I don't understand the hate. I thought every time he landed a kick to the leg, to the body, Emmett visibly hated it. I thought every time Emmett came forward to throw overhands, Lerone countered him with a beautiful elbow that every single elbow landed clean. Like Emmett left with 3 different cuts on his head. And he was hurt visibly by a couple elbows as well. So I was like, that's just surgical performance. And to say that Murphy lost that fight is just ridiculous. Emmett literally landed nothing. Just kept hitting the guard. So yeah, I put like $300 on Murphy live. It was going to be minus $200, $1.50, but by the time they locked my bet in, it was like $1.30, and I won another $100. So ended up 590 down, almost $600, a little bit over a unit. And honestly, after Garul, that felt like a win to me. And with the PFL profits, it's basically the same, $600. I made PFL profits, and then I lost it on the regionals before UFC. So it's basically whatever I lost on UFC, that's it. So starting the month on $600 negative, not a biggie at all. We made $3,000 last month, so easy peasy, very achievable. So yeah, a long recap, but we'll get into it now. We only got PFL and UFC to talk about. So yeah, I'm excited to tackle this pay-per-view and get out of the hole. 2 units this week, and we're already out. Let's see what the boys say. Let's see what Gas Pack Fedor won rounds 2 and 3. I mean, that was the most clear 2 and 3. Very clear. Dogfather, shout out Barbosa. Shout out every single person that was on that. Sometimes, one of my boys is like, round 1 sub feels a bit forced. I mean, if there was no noise, it's sometimes the most obvious bet happens. Shout out Kang Ho, yes. Shout out Kang. Shame I didn't put the money line as well. Holy, round 2 hit like crack, mate. Round 3 instead of round 2 would have been beautiful. I would have made so much money in round 3. I would have made another 1,400 extra. Actually, it would have been a big day just from that. But anyway, Murphy, good, just back foot optics, I guess. Oh yeah. He was still doing more damage on the back foot. Billy Ray, respect for staying at it and getting out of the hole some last night. Oh yeah, mate. Like as I said, 7 years of doing this. In the last year or so, I was getting depressed when going in a hole. And I remembered, man, back in the day, there was no quit. I just get out of the hole. And I'm lucky that I had a fight like Lee where I had a really good read. So if you don't have a really good read on a fight to chase, that's where the issue happens. Luckily, a good read was coming up. KJC. Eso Tavares for being one of the most consistent. Yeah, look, I should have played Tavares when the line came in. One of the sharp guys in the Discord. That was great. Karma, Murphy clearly won that. Murphy got shot 3 times in the head, more lives than a cat. Emmett got his karma. Yeah, I mean, Emmett won his fight against Qatar, and also Murphy won. I don't think either of those were robberies. Anyway, PFL. I haven't even, like I said, PFL was good to me last week. Could have gone a little bit harder, but it is a dodgy promotion for betting. So let's see these odds, right? Hey, Katrina Shakalova, Sarai also. This is a bit of a low-level bum fight. Sharakova got rinsed by, who's that chick? The girl that they released from UFC, and now she's a massive favorite. So Aspen Ladd, I don't agree with that. Her fight before that was a split decision, and Sarah actually had a split decision herself, right? To Sanuko Inaba. So yeah, dog or pass, right? Dog or pass, easy. I mean, if you're still parlaying these women or playing these women straight, like, I don't know what to tell you. Billy, you guys like Jenna Bishop minus 160? Well, we'll get there, my friend. Chillax. Wilson, whatever that name is, versus De Silva. Yeah, this, I know Alves, he's a beast. He's got a lot of power, and so does Wilson, actually. Wow, this is, they're all in the tournament. That's interesting. Bantamweight tournament. We'll see who's going to win this tournament. Alves is an animal. He should be the favorite. I don't think this Wilson guy is that great. He's like a CFFC guy. He's got some good wins. Trent Girdham lost to Justin Torres. He has some power. It's not bad. I mean, Alves should be the favorite. Let's see where he's at. Wow. Oh, he is. Minus 200. Mixed it up for a second there. All right, let's move on. Nothing interesting there. No totals just yet. Elora Diana, whatever that name is, the Russian. I don't know who this Elora is. 7-0. Fighting in juggle fight. I have to look into it. All right, Diana, I know her. Lost to Justin Kish. It's always a red flag. Who is the favorite here? Might have to tackle. Elora is the favorite. Interesting. Must be the undefeated factor. Let's move on. Jenna Bishop, Kana Watanabe. There we go. Minus 160 on Jenna. I mean, that's hard to play. It's hard to play that. She, but you know, she almost beat Talita Santos. She's good, high-level grappler. Watanabe is too, but man, she got submitted by Liz Camouche. Wow. I mean, Jenna should be the favorite. I don't know if there's any value, to be honest, personally. Pepe, Wilson is chinny. Well, if that's the case, it makes sense why Alves is such a decent favorite. Good to know. This round 2 card looks so shit compared to round 1. I mean, yeah, it felt like they had all the stars on round 1. I mean, whenever it's the women's bracket, it's where you can expect. At least there's no heavyweights on this one. For some reason, PFL is always pairing heavyweights and women. It's like the worst viewing. Horrible. Aaron thinks Elora's a lock. There we go. Maybe I should tape. Shakalova dropping from 125. I guess that's why she's a favorite, but is that going to make her much better? Who knows? Matheus Matos, Jake Hadley. Someone here says they're fading Hadley. I mean, you can't go wrong. Just blindly fading Hadley all the time. He's $1.70. Matos is this beast of a Brazilian striker. He hits like a truck. He's got a good guillotine. He's a bit old now, right? 32. Oh, he's not really. Not really, but he's getting there. It kind of seems washed. Yeah, it should beat Hadley. I mean, why the hell is Hadley a favorite over anyone? Yeah, Matos is the guy. I'm going to have to take that one first. Liz Camouche, Joanne. I mean, Camouche just beats anyone that is not on her level. $1.22 favorite. Disgusting. Let's move on. Kasum Kasimov versus Justin Wetzel. All right, Justin Wetzel's been signed from LFA. That's good. Let me just have a little reminder of this Kasimov guy. There's so many of these dudes. These bloody grapplers. Who did he fight? Matos. And yeah, he barely beat Josh Hill. Right, this guy's a grinder. Grind City. And I think Wetzel has a wrestling background. And he just beat Usmanov. I think Usmanov was on Ultimate Fighter. Beat him by decision. Got knocked out by Nascimento, Militia. What's the line here? Wow. Kasimov, massive favorite. I mean, not really playing those kind of guys. The clinch grappling guys that are slim margins. Mando is a lock. Who the hell's Mando? All right, you're here already. One head. Nutsi versus Mando. I know Mando well, right? He's been on Contender. He's been on Ultimate Fighter. What's this line? Nuzi is decent, good enough striker, actually. Very good striker. Who did he fight recently? Nuzi. Right, no contest against Bekansi. I'm pretty sure he knocked out Bekansi, or it was a poke. And he hasn't fought since. That was 2 years ago. A lot of cancelled fights. Failed medical exam. Another withdrawal. And then Matos withdrew. Wait a minute. How did Matos withdraw when he's on the same card? It seems like they switched opponents. Matos is now fighting Hadley. Interesting. All right. Mando. Let's see what Mando's been up to. I remember him losing to Cameron Smotherman. And, right, he beat Eric Rowe, who's a bum. Georgie Goto, a bum, and he went to split with him. Wow, that's not a good look. This Goto guy is not bad in Deep FC, but what are the odds? What are the odds? Nuzi, slight favorite. Oh, that's massive favorite against Gutierrez. Yeah, I mean, I have to remind myself when he's grappling, but I know from memory, Mando doesn't really have much striking. Hadley's previous opponent pulled out. He was going to maul Hadley, probably. I wonder who his previous opponent was. Do we have all lines here? No. Alrighty. What else? Leandro Higo, Josh Rettenhouse. This is a random fight. Higo's a beast. Still, despite his age, 23-6. We know Rettenhouse. Rettenhouse was an Ultimate Fighter. What's he been up to since then? Was he like 30, 35? He was just beating, Alex McGowan. Just, I don't know, just a bunch of bums. Chris Beal was in the UFC. He's been active since Ultimate Fighter, at least. And he's a good veteran. He's a good veteran, but, I mean, is he going to beat Leandro Higo? Higo just beat Nikita Mikhailov and also Gallagher. Yeah, this guy's still in his prime, man. 36, not in his prime, but he's doing well. He's got a great guillotine. Josh, right, he's been submitted before by Josh Hill of all people. Higo's going to be a massive favorite. Yeah, $1.29. We'll see. See some totals. And Santos versus Julia Velasquez. I mean, Julia Velasquez lost 3 times to Liz Camouche. She probably should lose to Talia Santos. What are the odds? Yeah, disgusting. Yeah, betting-wise, this doesn't really stand out to me much. It doesn't really stand out to me much. But PFL failed the same way, and then, lines started shifting, started moving, totals came out. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, but let's move on to the card. Let's move on to the UFC card. It's why we're all here. So let's get into it, shall we? What do we got first? And I haven't even looked at we should have totals for this, right? Let me have a look. Let's go. We got totals. So first time I'll be seeing totals. So the first fight, Nora Connell, Haley Cohen. And I'm going to bring on a sharp guest for this pay-per-view. He's doing well. He's got 20 units plus. I like to bring on people that are profitable and know what they're talking about betting-wise, rather than just my friends. So I'll bring him on. But I think actually, no, I'll take that back. He's nothing to do with this fight just yet. But yeah, I know someone that's played Haley Cohen, and the line seems to be trending down. This is a female shit show fight. Nora Connell, I know her well. I think she's better than people think, but she's usually an underdog. Now she's a favorite, so I'm definitely not playing the favorite unless the line moves. I did fade Cohen against Jamie Lee Horth, and that was close. That was close. Dogfather, sharp guess. Why did I come on the show? I'll tell you why. You came on the show, mate, because you play things like Tulio and Chase Hooper parlay for a max bet. That's why, mate. That's sharp. But your time will come. I'll bring you on again. So yeah, female fight next. Tresean Gore, Marcos Tulio. Yeah, I mean, Tulio should kill him. Tresean Gore, despite being in the UFC for so long, he's still so green. He's barely fought. And he's been knocked out by old mate Cody Brundage. Josh Friend fight was a meme. I think he might be a bit fragile. Tulio should kill him. Tulio loves going over 1.5 rounds against people that he should kill earlier. And then against Poteria, as predicted, he killed him in under 1.5. So the total is going to be nice here. Let me have a look. Ooh, under 1.5 rounds is plus money. It's plus money. I just know if I play it though, Tulio is gonna make me regret it. Other than that, let's see the women's. The women's under maybe probably goes over. Let's move on. Sumadeji Mitch Raposo. I know some people already played Raposo. It makes sense, right? Sumadeji, 3-fight losing streak. He's a bit fragile. He has no ground game. Anyone that gets hurt by Tim Elliott and Charles Johnson and gets defeated by Matt Schnell is a fade. Is a fade. And Mitch Raposo is not that bad, man. He is not that bad. He's 26. So I understand why people are piling on. The line is moving. All right, still plus 160. I mean, Sue minus 200. You look at his career. He's a bit like Ode Osborne. His best win is Zaruk Adashev, who couldn't even finish. And then after that, it's Malcolm Gordon. Right? He beat the crap out of Andre Sukumtat. That's it. This guy doesn't have a good UFC win. He got lucky to be in the ranking somehow, and then everyone in the ranking rinsed him, including Matt Schnell. So, I mean, it's Mitch Raposo or pass. That's that. I get it. I get it. I'll come around to that too. That might be the first fight I should take, right? What's the total there? Let me have a look. Under 2.5 rounds is plus money. Mitch has power. Mitch has power. Dogfather, KO 2 minutes and 32 seconds of round 2 for Tulio. Correct. As is tradition. One silver on the card has to lose. Bryce Mitchell by sub or Treyshan by TKO. Well, neither silver has to lose, my friend. I don't know why we're talking in codes. Cedric Dumas versus Mikel Orlen, the Lord. Let's just go with the Lord. I'm not good with names today. It's been a long day last night. And I mean, well, I thought Dumas was minus 200. Mikel minus 200. It's a bit risky because he doesn't have a ground game. You know, Dumas with that submission is aging great over Penaz on Contender Series. Under 1.5 rounds, plus money. I'm tempted. Right. I think at this point anyone can submit Lord. Anyone can submit Lord, even someone like Dumas. But this guy doesn't have a good win. Abu Azaitai, Cody Brundage, Dennis Talulian. Losing to Friend and Ruziboyev. Ruziboyev is forgivable, Friend is not. I think Michel Olazenchi could run through this, man. As is tradition. He can run through this, man. I hope he does, man. I don't want the Lord to be cut. They've given him a good opponent. I would like to play the under, but same time, I don't want to rush. I'm not. Monday, I don't lock things in. I've made mistakes like that before. But yeah, the under is definitely the side, in my opinion, at first glance. I don't know how the over is close to minus 200. That just makes, from a value perspective, without any tape, that makes no sense. Darren Elkins, Juliana Rosa. Juliana Rosa as a huge favorite. What could go wrong? Under 2.5 rounds is pick him. Look, if Rosa is not completely retarded, he should really knock out Darren Elkins. I know Darren Elkins is still tough, but he still had some sweaty moments against TJ Brown and Daniel Pineda. Erosa hits harder than all of them. Erosa's like really good, man. Other than the chin, Erosa's actually knocked out and finished. I mean, C-Rod, Ramos, Charles Johnson, Jourdain, Nate Landwehr, Sean Woodson, who's like about to be ranked. It's just, he's very good. And he's even hurt people like Hakeem Dawodu badly and Steven Peterson, people that he couldn't finish. So, yeah, gas packs. That underline will definitely be moving soon. Interesting. Well, just give me a second. Give me a second to lock it in before you do anything. Chase Hooper, Jim Miller. What am I going to do with this line? I mean, Dogfather already parlayed and destroyed it. What's the total? The under 2.5 rounds is trending to getting a bit worse to minus 200. I get it. Hooper is kind of improved his finishing, but Jim Miller is still tough as nails. That's the issue. Jim Miller, man, massive regret not capitalizing on Damien Jackson. I wanted to play the money line, and instead I went round 1 KO, and you got the round 1 guillotine. That's like, when your read is good and you just miss out. If I just put half a unit on money line, or just round one. Those hurt the most. But yeah, Jim Miller's still durable, man. He's striking with Gabriel Benitez. He's taking massive damage to King Green and surviving, massive damage to Hernandez. So can Chase Hooper finish him? Can he submit him? I don't know. I mean, it could look value. Well, these guys could probably just roll on the ground and it could be a competitive grappling fight. How many people have submitted Jim Miller? Literally just Charles Oliveira. That's and Chiesa and Nate Diaz. All right, so the best of the best. It's possible. We'll see. Werner Jandiroba versus Xiaonan Yan. That's I mean, we have to side with Werner, right? Money's coming on Yan. It's got to be some recency bias because she looked great against Tabitha Ricci, but Tabitha Ricci ain't it, my friends. I've been telling people, I've been fading her. She's not it, you know. She's small. Her wrestling's not the best. She just has a motor, and that's it. And once Yan shut down the takedowns, it was easy peasy. Werner's a different breed. It's clear that Yan still has issues on the ground. And Werner's streaking, man. Amanda Lemos, Godinez, Marina, Angela Hill. And she'll shoot for 3 rounds. So, great fight. Great fight. I mean, a shame about the chalk. Money seems to be coming in on Yan, so shame about that. But she has to be the side. I don't know if I want to rely on Yan to sprawl and brawl. Alrighty, Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. So a bit of money's coming on Sean Woodson. This was Pick'em. Now he's what? Wow, he's trending towards minus 200. Wow. I don't know about that, man. Don't know about that. I mean, I get it. You should, stick and move against Sean Woodson. But how's this? Sean Woodson, the one time he got hit clean against Saldana, he was almost knocked out. Right? He's very good with his head movement. Not many people have cracked him, but he might have issues with his chin. Obviously, he looked amazing against Padilla. But who on this record is Dan Ige's level? Padilla, Caceres, Charles Jourdain, Luis Saldana, Colin Anglin, Zalal before his glow up, and Julia Rosa finished him. So Dan Ige is going to keep on coming, man. Has anyone really boxed up Dan Ige? Literally no. Literally nobody has just like stuck and moved. Josh Hammett hurt him a bit. But 2001, Josh Hammett's a different breed. And he's got a lot of... Oh, Kevin Qatar boxed him up. I remember I played big chalk there when I was more brave. But Kevin Qatar back in 2020. Emmett didn't really box him up, my friend. He hurt Emmett as well. It was just like power dynamic. It makes sense, but I mean, am I getting any value at this line? I don't know. I don't like any of these guys, so let's move on. What's the total? I haven't looked at the totals the last two. Werner Jandiroba, under 2.5 rounds, plus 150. That could be good. But, Jan, good submission defense. Dan Ige, under 2.5 rounds, $3. Yeah, we get it. Both durable. It is what it is. Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes. I mean, this is a dog or pass. I get that Reyes is meant to be washed, but I think he's got 2 wins under his record. He still has power. He still has athleticism. And he's confident now, man. He's confident. Nikita Krylov makes errors. This guy makes errors, but it is a step up from Dustin Jacoby, who I never thought was that great. He might be a bit washed. And obviously Anthony Smith. I mean, come on. But the guy's good. This could be competitive. Krylov hasn't been fighting in a long time, since the Ryan Spann fight. He's obviously going to try and wrestle here. Oh, Dogfather, this is what I was thinking. Krylov fight seems like a Gustafsson return. This is what I was thinking. Just like, could he get Reyes out of there? But I don't know, man. I wouldn't put Reyes on the Gustafsson level of washed. Don't know about that. Maybe. Who knows? Minus 200, light heavyweight. I don't know. What's the total, out of curiosity? What is the total? Wow, set at 1.5 rounds. Some tape is going to need to be done on that one. Michael West, great breakdown, Steve. Thank you, West. Icelandic farts. Make sure you guys subscribe. No, wait. You're never late, my friend. Better late than never. Dogfather, he still got KO'd by a jab. I don't know, man. He walked into a Ryan Spann jab, so... All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Yair Rodriguez, Patricio Pitbull. We got Pitbull from Bellator, one of the GOATs. My friend has some big money on Yair Rodriguez at chalk, and I get it. Half of me is kind of, seeing this as a Emmett fight where Yair's just going to rip the body and people won't be able to handle it. He's a bit washed. He was hurt, by a head kick by AJ McKee the first time they fought and guillotined. But then he beat him in a rerun, which is very impressive to beat AJ McKee, smaller, less durable, less athletic, and less volume. He just countered him. He beat Adam Borix. He beat a bunch of good guys. Sergio Pettis got hurt with a spinning wheel kick there as well. Suzuki knocked him out. And then he got hurt by Jeremy Kennedy. And I was like, I played him there because it was the recency bias. I'm like, no man that was once a GOAT will lose to Jeremy Kennedy, right? And man, when he got hurt by Kennedy, I'm like, I got away with this one. But people might be washed. Now, we just saw Kennedy almost knocked out Kabulaev, right? The guy that was undefeated and looked like an animal. So maybe Kabulaev's washed, or maybe Jeremy Kennedy has more power than I thought. And we never see it because he always grapples. But yeah, can't go by the fact that Patricio always gets cracked, always gets hurt. But so does Yair Rodriguez, man. This guy has no defense. He got cracked bad with an overhand right, Josh Emmett, and lost round 1. And he just kept kicking his body brutally. He lost to a washed Brian Ortega. He got finished by Volkanovski, and then he got finished. Yeah, it's just like this guy was never that. Like, his boxing's always been bad. His defense to overhand rights was always bad. Patricio is an elite counter striker, and he has good wrestling, great jiu-jitsu. He's beaten people with takedowns. It should be not hard for him to take Yair Rodriguez down at all. Yair Rodriguez, I don't see him getting a triangle from the bottom like he did on Josh Emmett. So, on one side, I want to just play Yair Rodriguez chalk and hope he just runs through it, wash people. On the other side, I think Yair is a bit washed himself. He's 32. He was never that good. His best win is what? Josh Emmett, that looked completely washed. And that's it. Loses to Brian Ortega, loses to Volkanovski, Max Holloway. After that, it's Jeremy Stevens. It's Chang. It's Korean Zombie. Last second knockout that he was losing 4-1. Speaking of worst result ever, I was on Zombie there. Bad beats. Lost to Frankie Edgar. Beat BJ Penn. He doesn't have a good win. He does not have a good win. Maybe play the under. What's the under here? Ooh, under 2.5 rounds is plus money. Wow. I can see Patricio sub. Cheeky. Alrighty. Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva. And people have been going crazy in the chat about this fight. If Pitbull loses, Gene Silva loses. Well, that's a bulletproof analysis. Telling you Mitchell is live. I agree. Mitchell is live. And I love this fight. And I'm rooting for Mitchell. Right. I love rooting for the underdog. Look, even someone like Ode Osborne, I'm happy that he won. Like, I don't like guys that are I love when guys are about to get cut. Everyone's fading him. I love when they win. It just sucked that I had to lose money on it, but I love it. So I'm rooting for Bryce Mitchell. The whole world is against him. So, not like I'm going to be playing Gene Silva $1.33, but we've seen this matchup before, and my boy Bryce he's been manhandled before. We've seen him get manhandled by Josh Emmett. All right. We've seen him get manhandled by Topuria. We've seen him the first half of the Dan Ige fight. He was looking like crap. And yeah, I lied bet Ige there. I thought he was 2-0 up. And I still feel like that was a robbery. Bryce was minus 200 there. And yeah, man, this guy can be hurt, can be cracked on the feet. So now he's fighting this animal, Gene Silva, that I have to go deep. I have to go deep on Gene Silva's ground game. Now, he likes to stand up. Gene Silva. He's got good get-ups. But he also loves the guillotine. Joe Anderson Brito? Anyone? No, he's definitely smarter than Joe Anderson Brito. It's not hard, but he's definitely smarter. If anything, I'll just play Gene Silva KO. That's his money line, basically. I mean, every single fight he's got a KO. The only guy I didn't KO was Kevin Vallejos, who I think is like a young Drew Dober in terms of durability. Even knocked out Drew Dober. I don't think Bryce will be able to handle that kind of KO power. And if he's not getting moments, Bryce is probably getting extensive grappling time, right? So it's a dog or pass for sure. Maybe see the under. What's the under at? Minus money under 2.5. Yeah. Dogfather, silver system bet. How about the under? Would you play the under minus 2.5, minus 200? Maybe covers the sub. Maybe covers his guillotine. Who knows? Icelandic farts. Smart ass comments. I love them. All right, I'll keep them going. But I don't know what you're talking about. I'm literally serious in all my podcasts. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. A lot of action on Paddy Pimblett. And I get it. Right? Michael Chandler loves to lose. And I thought I'll be there. I thought it would be like, don't overthink it. One guy is young and he's improving. And they're hand selecting his opponents. Right? He's only 30. He's not amazing, but every time he fights, you see something. And then I watched the Michael Chandler tape. And I'm like, all right, so we're talking hurting Justin Gaethje. We're talking almost knocking out Charles Oliveira. Knocking out Dan Hooker. Hurting Poirier in round 1. And then dominating round 2. And then just losing on one mistake. And we're talking going 5 rounds with Oliveira. And then hurting him in round 5. And just being an idiot and not getting the KO. Now, despite all Chandler's flaws, I think he has better cardio than Paddy Pimblett, right? There's 2 decisions that have gone long for Paddy. He looked pretty crap against Gordon, and he gassed completely against Tony Ferguson. And people are like, oh, he blew his tank trying to go for finish. Man, Michael Chandler's going for a finish in every single fight, and he still has cardio in round 5 to almost knock you out, right? Pepe Silva. Is this 5 rounds? Apparently it is. I didn't think this was 5 rounds, but there you go. It makes sense why Paddy's getting action. But I still think, dude, we just seen him almost knock out Charles Oliveira in the 5th. Like, I think Chandler cardio is underrated. And basically this fight is I think Chandler is basically Jared Gordon on steroids. Right? Better wrestling, more explosive, more power, probably less chinny. And every time you watch that Jared Gordon fight, he's landing at will. He's getting takedowns, and he's not getting touched. Nothing landed on him. So I get that Paddy's younger, probably more durable. I don't even know if he has more power. And people are saying that he can win multiple ways, sub KO decision. But Michael Chandler's been sub once, and that was by Dustin Poirier, rear naked choke, which is so random because he was sitting in Goiti Yamauchi's guard. He sat in Brett Primus's guard. Sydney Outlaw knocked him out quickly. Charles Oliveira, he got out of his back take and had 5 rounds of back takes against Charles Oliveira in the rematch, and he didn't get submitted. So it's so random that Dustin Poirier rear naked choked him, but I don't know if Paddy's going to be that guy, especially with triangles. He's like Torres Finney. You don't triangle this guy. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Paddy literally has no good wins. Tony Ferguson, Jared Gordon, Jordan Levitt, Rodrigo Vargas, Luigi, and King Green, which King Green is trending towards a Tony Ferguson streak, right? Back-to-back losses by finish, beat John Miller, finish to Jalen Turner, washed Tony Ferguson, Drew Dober knockout. He's trending that way. He's not there, but two more KO losses, right? He's 38, so Michael Chandler is probably the closest guy that they could get to maybe take a pay cut. Maybe take a pay rise to lose, because that Bobby Green fight looks scripted. Maybe Chandler's there for the money too. So I don't know. I get it, but I don't get it. Aaron, over is a lock. Is it a lock? Let me see. I mean, it was locked in the Oliveira fight. Oh, it's a 1.5. Well, that's interesting. I wouldn't even play that because I mean, both these guys can get round 1 finishes, right? Chandler knocked out how many people in round 1? Definitely wouldn't play that. And if he's going to knock out Paddy, it's probably going to be early when Paddy's like got first round chin. All right, let's move on. Diego Lopes versus Volkanovski, and yeah, this one is very hard for me to cap without doing some more tape. I've been on the Lopes train people have been hating. He's got insane hardware, right? Insane hardware, and yeah, this guy, he's got power. He's big. He can win decisions. Yeah, he might slow down, but it is what it is. And he's got elite jiu-jitsu, right? Elite jiu-jitsu. All I'm gonna say is it's basically how washed is Volkanovski. Now, Volkanovski, before people come at me, I know he's meant to be the GOAT. There's a lot of wins that I'm not really a fan of, right? Obviously, he's beat Aldo, Chad Mendes, whatever. Not the best guys. His best wins are Max Holloway 3 times, right? Brian Ortega, don't rate that at all. Near submissions, right? Washed Korean Zombie. Yair Rodriguez, I was just crapping on Yair Rodriguez, and that's it. Like the featherweight division, I've never been a fan of the featherweight division and who's at the top. So I think maybe Volkanovski would have had issues with Evloev. He might have had issues with Diego Lopes, right, on the way up, and we'll see this fight now. So, and he's always been hittable. He got kind of stumbled by Rodriguez. Obviously, got stumbled by Islam, and yeah, he's just there to be cracked, even though he has very good distance management. So, this feels very volatile. Obviously Volkanovski is someone that can probably take down Lopes and sit in his guard and survive, and he's got brutal ground and pound. Lopes has been knocked out with ground and pound before, but yeah, it's a volatile fight for me. The line is jumping back and forth. That's where I'm at. I can't make a good read without going extensively into tape. The winner of this is just keeping the belt warm for Movsar. I think so, man. Movsar in a 5-rounder. God bless. God bless anyone that's going to have to come up against that. Alrighty. Under 2.5 rounds, I'm interested. $2.70. $2.70. I think even Volkanovski might have some finishing upside late. Ground and pound. If Lopes could get gassed, but who knows. UFC GOAT Paddy's back, not Chandler. These fights are all fixed. I know a ref and judge. Whenever Mark Goddard's in the ring and there's a Tom Aspinall, never fight a UK fighter with Goddard. Right. Yeah, Goddard is a bit of an idiot, but all right, that's it. No bets, no bits on the early tease, unlike last week. But hey, the bets last week was bloody Franza and Garul, so shit bets anyway. So last pay-per-view, I pretty much had a bet on every single fight, and then the reads were great. So we'll see. I'll tape it. We'll see how we go. Basically, what I'm going to start with is Mitch Raposo, Dumas, Jandiroba possibly, and we'll go from there. See if I can lock in a few bets and then take it easy and move on to the PFL. All right, leave a comment, give me some locks, and thanks for listening.